Welcome to Sipping on Excellence. This is Coach KJ, and I'm here with my man, my dude, the Doc.
And this is where we will be discussing the exceptional that is absolutely attainable. My friends, here's to living that extraordinary life.
Cheers.
All right. Let's go.
Rocking and rolling
Let's
today, baby.
fucking go.
Oh, my goodness. He's so aggressive.
Fuck that.
Oh, my goodness.
This is our shit.
I know, right? The hell with the algorithm.
Right?
He curses too much.
Okay. Sometimes you got to say shit to get your point across.
You know what's funny about cursing? People don't do it in context.
Nope.
They just, that word, this word, that word, every single time. You're like, you need a vocabulary.
And you know what all I have to say? If you don't like what we're saying, you don't have to listen.
It's that easy. But you can subscribe and you can like if you're digging what we're doing.
Welcome to another episode of Sipping on Excellence.
Sipping, always sipping, just a little bit at a time.
Where we
1%,
give y'all a
2%.
little bit to sip on, and hopefully the feedback makes us sip a little more.
That's right, Chief.
Coach, man, how's your week been going so far? I know it's the beginning. This is where we hit that takeoff point.
Things are great. Things are great. Absolutely great.
You see that?
Absolutely great.
People,
I'm digging me.
You know, people, think about how many times you talk to people and you say, hey, how are things going? They all, well, you know, it's hard out here, you know. Why not just say things are great? Even when they're not, you're alive, so that's great.
Right.
You know, so I appreciate that.
There was a brother that said to me the other day, he said, he's blessed and highly favored. I was like, I hear you, brother. He said, how you doing? I said, I am doing fucking fantastic. He said, what's fantastic? I said, everything. My love, my pain, all of it is fantastic. It all lets me know I'm living.
And those of you who aren't used to this podcast, that's Life Coach Kenneth Johnson. Just saying.
We dove in hard.
Hey, that's Life Coach Kenneth Johnson. I'm Dr. Lionel Hunt.
That is I.
And
that is he.
We go hard in the paint every week.
Oh, man.
For those of you who don't catch our lives, we call it a warm-up, but it gets hot up in that camp.
I know. People, you know.
But it does. It eases them into what they're going to catch on Wednesdays. You know, so I'm down with that.
You know, we are here to give you the conversations that you are not having, that you need to start having in your life. So
I don't know, but I don't know if they're going to be ready for this one today, man. So let's just fuck it. Let's dive in.
Tell me about it.
You and I have talked about this.
Shake it off.
you and I have talked about this many times, and I think it's now time for us to fire it off at them. Transactional relationships. And what Coach just asked me, are all relationships transactional?
I sure did ask that.
So I think it comes up because a lot of times you see this in relationships where, for example, I want you to do something. Say, for example, your wife wants you to take out the garbage. Mm-hmm. I want you to take out the garbage, and if you don't, I'm going to withhold something.
Yeah. Like there are consequences.
Not even just consequences. They're like, they're withholding something. Yeah. And same thing with men. I want something, so I'm going to do something. You know, and it starts to make, for example, it starts to make sex transactional. Mm-hmm. Because a woman may say, oh, the thing a man wants from me is sex. So in order to get him to do what I want, I'm going to tell him he doesn't get it unless I'm going to withhold it unless he does this.
The unless, the if, the what if, the maybe, if.
Yeah, it's
always like, the word if, though.
I'll do something for you if you do something for me.
Correct.
And the question becomes, these transactional relationships kind of suck at times. And in certain cases, they're illegal. You know, for example, in my world, in medicine, if you use my product, I will do something for you.
Okay.
I'm going to take you to dinner, and then hopefully you'll use my product. But if you're not using my product, I'm not taking you to dinner. And when you say it like that,
Interesting.
that's that pay to play.
Yeah.
You know, and look at our government. If you vote a certain way, I will give you a discount the next time you go to my car dealership. I won't say that I'm giving you this car for your vote, but let's just say I'm going to let you borrow this car indefinitely. you feel me?
I wonder who we're talking about.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I get it.
Our world is full of transactional relationships. And I start to ask, is your relationship with your friends transactional? Typically not your good friends. Think about it. Our relationship as friends isn't transactional.
No.
Our relationship as coach to client is transactional because that's how it should. That's the job. That's what it is. But this relationship isn't transactional. It's what it is. I'm not saying I'm going to sit with coach and have a conversation as long as coach gives me something back. Yeah. No.
I always say you're with training and coaching is like I'm your friend before and I can be your friend after, but I'm friendly.
He's an asshole.
I'm friendly in between.
Right.
I'm not here for your pat on the back. Right. I'm here to make change. I'm an agent of change.
He's just, for real.
Guide you that way, brother.
You know, and I think this comes up as well with the conversation from the post that I did and how people will always say, and you'll hear women say this a lot. You'll never hear men say this. You'll say, we hear women say this a lot. I don't want to be with him unless he can do more for me than I can do for myself. Financially. So now you've made that relationship transactional.
Right.
Instead of like a prior podcast that we did, am I going to be a better woman having been with him than I was before?
So I say that now is, are you looking for love then? Because can it be love if it's based off a transaction? Based off of what you just said.
I don't know. I don't know that love is, people say, oh, love is transactional. No, not necessarily. Unless you're giving love with the hopes to give love back, to get love back. But that's not necessarily true because you can love somebody who doesn't love you back.
Yeah, that's circumstantial.
It's not transactional.
Yeah.
My love for you has nothing to do with your love for me.
Right.
Because we love differently. You may not love me at all, but I love you as a person. I love who you are, everything about you. I just may not be getting that love back. So does that make my love transactional? No, because if I truly love you, my love is not conditional. It's not based on whether or not you're going to love me back. You know, a man is going to a transactional relationship. I will be with you if or as long as you
do X, Y, and Z.
Don't do this, don't do that, stay in shape, blah, 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 all this stuff. But men will always like to put it on women saying, oh, well, they just want money. Well, there's things you want too. And the minute you say, my time, my company, our relationship is what it is, as long as you've made it a transaction.
Now, mind you, that was him talking about men, not women. I digress.
For all you who say men don't catch it. No, y'all catch it on this motherfucker right here.
Well, we get beat up sometimes.
Yeah, saying all we do is bash women. We're not bashing anyone.
We don't bash anyone. We want everyone to get 1% to 2% better.
Just listen
But you got to get the shit out. You got to get the dirt. You got to get the crud.
Even if you disagree, listen.
Yeah.
Because neither one of us can claim to be experts in life. There's no such thing.
We just try to be Q-tips. Get that wax out your ears.
And all we're doing is giving you a grown man's perspective on life.
Right.
And I go to work every day, and my work relationships are transactional. My outcomes are not.
Right.
So what do I mean by that? You come to see me. I perform work. Your insurance company, somebody pays me. They're paying me for what I'm doing. They're not paying me for the outcome. How well I do my job or how poorly I do my job, I'm still getting paid for it.
Huge difference.
I'm still getting, if I say it's $10 for me to give you good news, bad news, or change your life, that's the transaction. How I treat you is no longer a transaction. How I treat you is basically how I treat you. Mm-hmm. So in my relationship with a woman, if I'm bringing you on as my partner and you're telling me you're only going to be with me if I can financially make your life better, that's a transaction. Mm-hmm. If you say, I'm going to be with you because you make me want to make my life better, that's not transactional. That's just us.
Right.
Do
you think people understand their intentions behind those things?
Nope. Mm-hmm. I think.
And understand that what they're asking for is transactional.
Oh, for
They're
sure.
not looking for love. They're looking for a transaction.
This dude's taking me to dinner, and men say, oh, I'm taking this girl to dinner. I expect. You've just made it a transaction. Mm-hmm. Guys Absolutely. Who love to say, I don't pay for sex. Yeah, you do.
Because you just did.
You just did. You're not exchanging cash for ass, but you're doing all those things, and so are you at fault? For sure. Men have made relationships transactional because they try to buy women, and it's usually not the other way around because women aren't spending their money on dudes.
Right.
If you took money out of the equation, or say everybody's wealthy, what then makes a relationship transactional? You try to find something else somebody wants enough of that you have.
So what you got?
So
what are you bringing to the table? Besides
women withhold sex. Yeah. Men will say, if she does this, or I'm going to buy her this in order to gain favor. Mm-hmm. Women say, I'm going to give him some in order to gain favor. And y'all are going to jump on me for that, but we use what we think the other party values most to gain favor. That's the transaction.
Yeah.
Think about it.
And I mean, I am.
And right or wrong, that's what it is.
Yeah.
We don't want to think about that.
I'm like, it's a little rough. It's that. Listen, truth hurts.
Yeah. Every day you go to work, it's a transactional relationship.
Correct.
You show up, you put in your time, whether you work or not. If you're an hourly employee, I'm there from 9 to 5. The transaction is I give you my time. Me as a boss, I'm buying your time.
Right.
I'm not buying the outcome, because if you didn't do shit all day, I still legally have to pay you for sitting at that desk.
Right.
So I'm paying for your time, hoping I get an outcome.
Correct.
You're buying a woman the bag, hoping to get the outcome instead of just getting the outcome because you're genuinely a good dude. Women, you're withholding sex to get the outcome instead of the dude saying, I want to make sure I get some, so I'm going to come home and clean up. That's the wrong mentality to do. He should do it because he wants to.
Right.
He should do things for you because he wants to, not because he knows there's a certain prize
Right.
at the end of the outcome. At the end of the act.
So you have this lifelong game that you playing as opposed to being together or trying to be together.
How do we take our personal relationships and stop looking at them like business relationships?
I don't know.
I think that's what marriage has come to.
Absolutely.
Now you look at
many.
You look at when our great grandparents and our grandparents got married. Some may say they were transactional, but they stuck. Now it's, how do I get the most out of this relationship going in? That's the thought from both sides. What am I getting out of this if I put into it? Is there a tit for tat? That tit for tat doesn't work.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this if she does that. He's going to do this if she does that.
Yeah, because you're no longer looking at what you're providing in the relationship. You're looking for what you're going to gain based off of your providing.
Yeah.
Which is short-lived. And I'm sorry, but there is no winning. There is absolutely no winning having long-term relationships in that circumstance.
Like, I look at my foundation and I look at the reason why people want to give. And it's interesting. I've always said, and I'm putting this out there publicly, if somebody came and said, you know what? I'm going to give you X amount of dollars, but I want you to name the foundation after me, I'd say keep your money. Because now you don't believe in the foundation. You just want your name in lights.
So why don't you create your own foundation? But you've already done all the legwork. So
right. Or when people,
has that happened?
No, because I've always said that will never happen. I will turn down money because there's a reason why it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Like people who give money to certain causes. And it's, for example, people who give to preserve the white owl. They don't give a shit about the white owl. They care about the party and what this donation buys them a ticket to. Mm-hmm. Who else is a part of this cause that I can rub elbows with that will benefit me in other aspects of my life? I'm not thinking about, I want to save that bird. I'm thinking, if I help save that bird, I get to sit next to Coach, who then can introduce me to other people.
They're not thinking of who, thinking about who and who.
Exactly, right? Yeah. And so it's, people think it always has to be monetary, transactional. Okay, I'm going to get close to Coach because Coach's best friend is this person.
Right.
I'm not paying for Coach's time. You and I both know a couple people who are that way.
Yeah.
Who I'm going to befriend certain people because they can do something for me.
Contingency clause.
They'll never say that's why they're doing it, but if that person didn't have something of value to offer, like, this person works at a spot where I may need.
Yeah.
You're not befriending that person because you think they're cool. you're trying to get close to them because you want the access to that they hold the key to.
Yeah.
To me, that's shitty. Don't be a friend. Just say, hey, dude, I want access to that. How do I get access to that? But nobody's that bold. Nobody states their intentions.
No.
People do shit and hope that nobody finds out what their true intentions are.
Yeah, there's this long dance that they're in, and they're disconnected from the connection that they could possibly have that will lead to that avenue.
I want to be an actress or an actor. I meet this person who's a movie producer. I'm going to start dating this person. Or I'm going to befriend this person because maybe they can help my career. If that person wasn't a movie producer, when you walk into that room and you just thought they were cool, would you want to befriend them once you found out they can't benefit you? I know so many people that do not bring people into the circle that won't benefit them or their career.
Oh, we know a couple.
I know people who dislike people in their circle, but they keep them around because
Correct.
they find them beneficial for making them money or
who they can be.
Yes.
Who they can be in front of.
And to me, that's shitty. You might as well just say, hey, look, dude, we ain't that cool, but I mean, we're associates, but I need you to, who's that? Introduce me to that person.
Yeah.
Sure, give me $500. Here you go. Make it a transaction, and then you don't have to be fake.
Right.
I will give you $1,000 to put me in the room.
That is an honest transaction.
Yeah.
Up front, you don't have to be friends with that person.
No. Coach, I want you to introduce me to this person, and if a deal goes down, I'm going to give you X. Cool. Or introduce me to that person, and I'm going to introduce you to this person who needs a coach. Win-win. Mm-hmm. Oh, you got a person that you know you've been talking to needs back surgery? Cool. I got somebody over here that needs your services. Mm-hmm. Done. Transaction. We don't have to be homies. It's just, I know you good at what you do. You know I'm good at what I do.
Had a recent situation. Called up a guy that used to come to my class. All I wanted to do is just sit down with the brother and chat, just catch up, because I thought he was a good dude. We sat down. He's like, I need to put you in front of some people. What can I do? I say, that's not what I'm asking for, but I appreciate it. But this is where I am in my business. So if that's what you see with them and what they need, great. If not, okay. But I'm not going to force that, because my connection, the important thing for me was me connecting with you.
Yeah.
And I made that clear. That was my intention with him.
Or, hey, I want to learn something from you. What's your time worth? Can I?
Correct.
I'm not asking for a favor. What's your time worth? Okay, well, how about this? Let me train you. And then during that time, let me learn from you. Mm-hmm. You pop off questions to me, I will pop off questions to you, and we'll make this interaction mutually beneficial. The barter system works great.
Absolutely.
Because all it is sweat equity. You know what I mean?
That's why I'm sitting here today.
Yeah. If you think about it, it's sweat equity. It's
any barter systems.
Yeah. It's like, you know what? I don't have the cash to pay for your time, but I got a skill set that you might need.
You know, I had 3 cars because of the barter system. 3. I gave them my time. They got in shape. I had a car.
But people don't want to admit their relationships with certain people are transactional.
No.
They're afraid to understand that. Like, I know people who, if I wasn't doing things for them, would not be friends with me because we're just not compatible as friends. And once I realized that, I'm like, you are, I know, and I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, I know some people that are they're opportunistic, is what I like to call them. They're only around if there's an opportunity for them. Mm-hmm. Or I need this person for something, so I'm just going to keep them around for a little bit. And that opportunity may be, hey, I have this person around because they're great in bed. So when I want to do that, I'm calling that person. That's a transaction. I want to feel better. Now, I don't know if it's a one-sided transaction or if they're getting something out of it as well. People don't think like that. It's only, what am I getting from this transaction?
Right.
And it's
selfish.
It's a shitty state to be in. And the funny thing is, though, me included, you included, we all will have, or have been in those transactional relationships in many different aspects of our lives. Now, what it boils down to is, when are we going to be honest about those transactions?
Yeah, most people aren't.
Most people can't say what they won't say what they think. I know why I have you around. I'm not going to tell you, because then you might not want to be around.
Right. Not knowing that you probably get more out of them if you just tell them.
They may be thinking, shit, okay, so I don't have to fake it either. Yeah. Seriously.
You've been dragging this along all this time.
Finally, fuck.
Damn. Yeah.
I really don't like you like that, but
cool.
Yeah. Right. So you know what I mean? So
all right then.
But I say this all the time, and I'll go back to what I do for work. All these people, these sales reps and company execs and all this stuff, they always want to, and I commend them, they want to buy my time by saying, hey, let me take you to dinner to discuss my product or discuss an opportunity. And I'm like, I don't need to break bread with you. Come sit down with me for 5 minutes. If I feel like this conversation is worth my time, then it's time well spent. You're giving me something by just talking to me. Perfect. I don't want to have to listen to you and eat a meal with you, because that's 3 hours I can't get back.
Right.
But I can give you 5 minutes. Handle your business. What do you got? At that point, if I think it's going to be beneficial for me in the long run, then we can kind of.
And you're dealing mostly with salespeople, and most people don't know how to sell.
And most people don't realize most of the shit you're trying to sell me, I have probably heard about it or seen it long before you, and know a lot more about your product than you do.
Because selling is not features and benefits.
No. It's relationships, man.
It's relationships. it's relationships, and when the transaction then can happen.
And a real relationship is cool, even if the transaction doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, people say you shouldn't do business with friends. Well, I'm like, yeah, as long as I'm separating the friendship from the business.
Right.
The friendship's not transactional, but this business is.
Right.
And if that business transaction ain't working, we still homies. The business ain't working. It's when people make that shit personal and try to make the personal,
right.
They try to use and leverage the personal for the transaction. That's where that problem comes into play.
That is not good.
No.
That is not good.
The shit doesn't work.
Yeah.
I see it all the time. Don't, because you're cool with me, think I'm going to automatically give you business. Or doctors who I'm nice to, who I'm friendly with, think because I think you're a cool guy equates to me sending my patients to you. Nah, I know doctors that are shitty doctors who I'm cool with.
Yeah.
You never touch any of my patients, but I'm cool with you. Cool, yeah. Right. We can go have a cocktail, do whatever.
Yeah.
But that's just... It's
that's life, man.
But you're befriending me because you think I can do something for you.
Yeah.
No. Now
you're not vibing with me. You're trying to befriend me based off of my offerings that I potentially could give you.
Yeah. And so, yes, with all of my friends and colleagues, I hope there's things that they can provide me with as a person to make me want to be better. But I think that's not the transactional side. That's me seeing myself differently because they're around. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so somebody out there is going to be like, well, it's all a transaction. It's not.
It's not.
It's not. Stop. You're going too deep with this. It's not.
Maybe that's it. We go too deep when it's unnecessary.
these tit for tat transactions are very obvious when you take a step back and look at it. You know, and if you're doing that in your relationships, you know, if you're doing that in your home, you know, shit, getting your kids to do chores is a transactional relationship. I'm gonna give you some allowance if you do X, Y, and Z.
By this time.
Yes. Now, parents don't have to make it a transaction, but it's an early way of teaching kids how to earn from working.
Right.
You know, and it's a good habit to build because that transactional relationship is important. But
Teaches responsibility.
yes. So I'm not saying transactional relationships are a bad thing. You just have to know when it's important to be that. You know, don't make transactions with your partner, with your mate, with your husband, with your wife.
Have a conversation. Yeah. Just talk to each other.
Understand each other's wants and needs.
Right.
And then there doesn't have to be a tit for tat because you will start to do things for people because it makes you feel good and because you know it's the right thing to do without doing it expecting something in return. Don't do things for your world around you. I'm not going to help this homeless guy on the street because I expect him to do something for me later, or I'm going to donate money or give this homeless guy food, and I'm going to have Coach film it so I can post it later. So now I've made that interaction a transaction because I'm giving him food and he's giving me social media likes and clicks.
Right.
That shit is wrong.
And it happens all day long.
You see it all day long. So you're only doing good because you want to boost your social stature.
You're only doing good because you want to look good because there's nothing good about you right now.
No, you know, and you see it all the time. And so most people who do good things or who want to do good things for the sake of doing them, do it anonymously. You know, if you really don't care if people know, don't tell. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just make it happen and let that be that.
Show up to grow up. Got to show up.
Like I remember when we started posting people's names of people who gave on our website. And I always thought the concept of this person's a platinum donor or this person's a diamond donor, you know, based on the level of give. So my brother and I, day one, decided that shit's not going to be us. So if you look at our website, you have individual donors, corporate donors. And there's no dollar amounts attached to it. And then you have volunteers, people who volunteer their time. They're probably the most important, you know. And on it, you get listed based on when you gave. So it's not alphabetic, it's none of that. We start out with 10 people. If you're the 11th person that gave, you just get added to the list.
Number
you know
11.
why?
Yeah.
Because it's easiest. Just add your name to the list, and that list will just keep growing.
Yeah.
So you don't feel ashamed for giving $5, and you don't feel, you don't feel like you're puffing your chest up because you gave 50. You know why? Because your name is right next to the person who gave $1. And so there's no way that you can.
You're not belittling people.
You're not belittling people, and I'm not praising an individual. I'm praising everybody.
Yeah.
And it's that simple. So you're giving because you want to give, knowing all of that.
When you said that, reminded me of, because, you know, here in Hollywood, here in LA, when you train, people say, well, who do you train? Who famous do you train? And my statement always, everybody. I train, all my clients are famous. All my clients are gems. All my clients are greats. All of them. I'm not going to put one over the other. Like, oh, I used to train this one. Oh, I was training it. No, everybody's great.
I love it when the weekend warrior or the person who thinks they're in shape comes to me and says, I want you to treat me like you treat your athletes. Yeah, no. And the reason why I can't treat you like I treat my athletes, because you're not going to heal like them.
Right.
Those professional athletes are specimens. The reason why they're professionals is because not just because they worked hard, they're genetically different from you.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. I can't teach you to be that.
Yeah.
So that means there's a genetic component to that makes them elite. You don't have those genes, so no, I'm not going to treat you the same, because if I put you through what I put them through, you will fold and break and my surgery won't work. So I'm going to meet you like Coach always says. You got to meet you where you're at.
Okay, I see where you're at. All right.
Or but people will say, well, who do you take care of? Like, I don't have pictures in my office up of
Right.
people, that I've taken care of. And the reason why is because nobody's business.
Yeah.
You don't see me running around taking pictures with celebrities. You don't see me, because I don't care if you know who I know.
Yeah.
My Rolodex is full just like yours, and everybody in my Rolodex is equally important. If your name makes it to my phone, then that means you're important to me.
Your transaction is just as good as theirs.
Because your dollar is just as good as their dollar.
Yep. It's going to cost the exact same.
I don't get to charge you more because you know somebody.
Right.
If that were the case, be a whole different ballgame. And so it's okay. Transactional relationships are necessary. You just have to know when to make transactions.
You have to have your intentions.
And as much as we don't want to, because we're afraid of the repercussions, people don't want to state their intentions.
No.
So they always try to hide it. Men will never state their true intentions with women they meet. They won't. Dude, you know why you walked over to her.
Yeah.
You didn't look at her and say, you know what? God, I bet she makes a great apple pie. No. You looked at her and said, I want to smash. That was your intention day one. Your intentions change as you get to know people, but make your intentions known. Yeah. Because you'd be surprised what honesty will get you. I'm still working on trying to be more forward with my intentions. Sometimes it's like, I'm not going to say it because it's not important right now, because I know my intention may change. So I'm just going to hold on to this over here. And as time goes on, if I realize my first initial intention for you doesn't change, then I'm either going to tell you this is all we got, or I'm out. I'm just not even going to go there because it's not worth it to me. Yeah. I don't want that transaction, because sometimes the cost on my end can be too great.
Bro, I want to punch you in the gut.
Yeah, sometimes I might lose on that end.
Yeah.
I invest on that side,
yeah,
and I may lose. So that gamble is not necessarily a great one.
Yeah, but once you state your intentions, you're very clear in your direction. Listen, you have nothing to lose then. You ain't got to work. You don't have to put on airs. You don't have to fake anything. You're just like, this.
And if you don't like me, you don't have to like me. But the one thing you'll take away from it is, I respect the fact that he was honest. Mm-hmm. I don't like what the shit he said. I don't like how it made me feel. Yeah. But he was honest.
Yeah.
And he said exactly what he wanted. And it's my choice to whether or not I want to accept that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think this topic can go multiple directions.
Absolutely.
And we'll continue to dive deep into it. But if you guys take anything out of this episode, learn to state your intentions.
Yeah.
Early, better.
I mean, we just had a podcast on it. So
late, not so great. Because you're in it now.
It's too far.
Too far in it.
Too far gone.
And as your intentions for people change, as your expectations of people change, state that. Mm-hmm. This is what I initially wanted because I didn't know you. Now that I know you, I want more. When I met you, I thought, oh, she's hot. I might want to head down the relationship road. When I got to know you, I realized, shit, we're not compatible, but you're the homie, so we're good.
Correct.
But you got to state that instead of stringing people along while you're trying to figure it out. You know what your intentions are with people. You just gotta build the courage up to say so. It's that simple, man. Oh man, let's get the fuck out of here.
Bye.
We got more coming. Coach KJ, man, where they gonna find you, man?
Find me at Coach KJ Knowles on Instagram and CoachKJ.com. Where they gonna find me?
You're going to find me at Leonel Hunt on IG. You'll find me at huntspine.com. Go check out the foundation. We talked a lot about it on this episode, thehuntfoundation.org. You'll find Coach KJ and I both on IG at SOE_podcast. And you'll catch our lives on there, all that stuff. You'll also find out everything Coach and Doc on podcastsoe.com. Subscribe. Go check us out on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and send it to your friends. Send us your ideas. And
sharing is caring.
No, we're coming back at you every week, and we out.
We out.